So yeah, week 3, day 2. Any questions or comments from folks before we get started? If not, we'll jump right in. Kiista.
Yeah, hi. I was wondering, it's not doesn't relate to language, but my mom and I were wondering if there were any like Tlingit games that we had traditional games. Um, like yeah, because we went to a Gona this past Sunday and they had this little like acorn game where it's like you have to get the acorns on the stick. So we were wondering if we had like anything like that or something else. Buenas noches.
Ah,
There was some Tlingit games that the people used to play, but we could talk about that at another time. It is a lot of fun and a lot of laughter for doing that.
yeah. Buenas for sharing your interest with us. We'll definitely incorporate it maybe into one of our Friday sessions. Okay. Okay, so jumping into our resources on counting. So last week we counted 1 through 10 for things, and we're gonna go over some resources where you can find more information today. So first one is the Beginning Tlingit Workbook, which we covered. Counting starts on page 100. While that's loading, I'll take you to our next one. In the Tlingit dictionary, you can actually find entries about the numbers, which is helpful. So if you go into the Tlingit to English dictionary and type in, for example, Nusk, the word for 3, you can find different entries. So Nuskadushu appears for 8, and then it does a little breakdown for you here. Nusk is the first part, meaning 3. Let me find a better example. Sorry. So Nusk appears as its own entry for 3. You can see different ways it's used. Nusk Jin Kot can be used for 30, depending on which counting system you're using. Nusk Yagi means Wednesday, so that's the 3rd day of the week. So like I said earlier, the dictionary is a great place just to sort of do research, harvest more information about any words you're looking up. So I highly recommend this for numbers as well, if you're wanting to count people or things. Continuing on to the Beginning Tlingit Workbook. Just to show you a visual, if you weren't here with us when we covered this, counting starts on page 100. So let's see, maybe. Okay, here we are. So this is where you can find the images of the hand gestures for each number. And again, this is for counting things. The next resource I wanted to share with you is Lingit Class. So Lingit Class is say it in Tlingit, that's the phrase book. Lingit Class is hear it in Tlingit. So that's a recorded audio by speaker Johnny Marks, you can listen to his pronunciation of the numbers. So just opening up. So if you go to clinkitlanguage.com, you can find these two links, and I'll just share them in the chat for you so that you have them available. But jumping right into them, you can find the text for Lingit Class. So you can find all the written phrases, and numbers start on disc 2, track 24. So I'll take you there. So here we are, disc 2, track 24. You can see the numbers written if you don't have them written down yet. And then you can find the corresponding audio file if you want to practice your pronunciation with them at home. And so to do that, click the link I shared under the audio files, open the folder that says disc 2. And scroll down to track 24. And so it'll be tracks 24 through 27, but just to give you an idea.
1,
cake, cake,
2,
deer, deer,
3,
nuts, nuts,
4,
dog on,
5,
kitchen, kitchen,
So yeah, that's just a quick and easy way to find where you can practice your pronunciation of the numbers.
What a nice voice.
Yeah. I believe that was Johnny Marks. Is that correct? He was okay. So the last resource I want to share, which will take us into our exercise, is Lingit Class, where you can see number information on counting, and it's on page 51. So let's go check it out. Okay, so let's scroll down to it quickly. Okay, so here you have your section on numbers and counting. And we covered numbers 1 through 10 for counting things already. But if you scroll down, you can find different, some of the higher numbers past 10, how to say 20, which is tleika. There's information for saying how many times, like once is tleidehin, twice dachdehin. And then what we're going to focus on today is counting people. So, oh yeah, for counting things, there's some interesting information here. When you're talking about things and animals, it is not necessary to make the noun plural in Tlingit. So if you want to say one goat, repeat after me. You can unmute your mics, and it would be Tleik Janwu.
Take Janwu.
Yeah. So you don't need to pluralize Janwu, which is goat. You just say one goat. Well, that one's just one, but for 2 deer, you can repeat after me. Beich Guakan.
Take Guacan.
And for 3 salmon, Naskhat.
Nas.
Yeah. So this next section is what we're going to focus on today, and it's counting people. So for counting people, the suffix nach or ninach is added to the number. And so looking at our slides, I pulled this information. So again, this information came from Nora Marks Downhauer and Richard Downhauer and Lingit Class, published by SHI. And so looking at the different numbers, let's practice them, but we have counting people 1 through 10 here. So let's go ahead and unmute our mics. We'll practice all of them together, and then we'll go through an exercise similar to how we practice counting things 1 through 10. And so first one for one person is tleinach. And so for specifying the people you're talking about, if you want to say one man or one person, you would say tleinach ka, or if you repeat after me, tleinach pa. But you can also specify it for women or children. People wanted to talk about their grandchildren. But so for now, we'll just keep it generalized for the number portion. So for 2 people, you're counting people, repeat after me. Dachnach. For 3 people, naskinach. Daguninach. Kejininach. Kleideshunach. Dachadushunach. Netskadushunach. Gushuganach.
I want to repeat that one.
Gushuganach. Jinkatnach. Okay, so before we do our practice, how did we sound, Aksani Keek?
That sounded good. And for the people here that are working and teaching children, I think you should just stick to counting things. You might mention that this is for counting things, but there's different ways for talking about people. And if the older students will be curious as to what that is, but the younger ones, they'll just probably stash that information away. But the games that you can play with teaching numbers to children, of course, using the fingers is one thing they like. And the other thing I used to do was spelling bee. Spelling bee is a lot of fun. And the other one is you write the numbers on cards, on big cards, and have the kids stand in 2 lines. It's a relay. So what you want to do is on the word go, a student will run up and grab a card. What you want them to do is end up having it all in order. So, because that takes word recognition. So they learn what it looks like to do it right. And after you have several relays like that, they learn and get very excited about it. So
Hmm.
there is some fun games you can do in the classroom.
Fun. I love that. I miss working with children. Does anyone in this group that's here today work with children teaching Tlingit? Not yet, not till we advance a little more and get our teaching certificates together. Okay, I'm seeing some smiles. We're on our way. Okay, so let's do a practice and we'll do it similar. We'll start with 1 and then go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll do a repetitive style again. Okay. So you can repeat after me. Kleinach,
Kleinach.
kleinach,
Kleinach.
dachnach, kleinach, dachnach, neskinach, kleinach, dachnach, neskinach, dakuninach, kleinach, dachnach, neskinach, dakuninach, kejininach, kleinach, dachnach, neskinach, dakuninach, kejininach, heidushunach, kleinach, dachnach, neskinach, dakuninach, kejininach, heidushunach, dachadushunach, kleinach, dachnach, neskinach, dakuninach, kejininach, heidushunach,
Shunach.
Dachadushunach.
Shunach.
Neskadushunach.
Shunach.
Kleinach. Dachnach. Neskinach.
Enoch.
Daukuninach. Kejininach. Kleidushunach. Dachadushunach. Neskadushunach. Gushukonach.
Enoch.
Kleinach. Dachnach. Neskinach. Daukuninach. Kejininach. Kleidushunach. Dachadushunach. Neskadushunach. Gushukonach. Jinkatnach. Hey, how did we sound, Jacksani?
That sounded good.
Okay. Okay, Johan, good job. Any questions about counting people or comments? One thing I'm not sure if you notice, but something that helps me as a learner is you go up to 5, Kejininach. And remember 5 is like a hand up, so it's all your fingers on one hand, Kejininach. And then from there, Tle Dushunach is for 6 people, but it's this Tle, you'll start to see a pattern like after 5, how many is it? So Tle Dushunach is 6, Dachadushunach is 7, but it's, after 5, you have 2. So that Dachadushu kind of reminds you of Deich. And then Neskadushu is kind of reminds you of 3. That Nesk. Does that make sense? Okay. All right.
I've
So,
had
uh,
quite a number of students that can't remember 7. They always skip it. And when they learn to count a little bit more at ease. When they count, they leave out 7. So you have to watch yourself on that one. I don't know why that happens, but 7 is the only number that happens with. I know.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So let's go ahead and do a quick dialogue review, and then we'll give you plenty of time to work on it in your breakout rooms since we accidentally skipped breakout rooms last week. We're going to give you time to cover your new material. So for the knock knock dialogue, we added some lines last week and wait a minute. Oh, I'm missing lines. 1 second. Let me grab them really quick. So that was week 2, day 2. Okay, here we are. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna put this back up on the screen and we'll do a quick practice. So week 3, day 2. Okay, here we go. So getting back to our dialogue. Our new lines, let's practice pronouncing them together and then Jaksani Keek and I'll demonstrate for you. So the new lines were un gao saya. So go ahead and unmute your mics and repeat after me. This blue line, un gao saya. And the answer is sit gao san aya.
Sit Gao San Aya.
Mm-hmm. And so we have to remember to do some acting because when the person asks un gao saya, they're surprised they lost track of time. So let's do that again. Un gao saya.
Gao Saya.
Saya.
Yeah. And then the answer, sit gao san aya.
Sit Gao San Aya.
San Aya.
And then that same person asks, I gotta change my color coding here. Because this is the same person. Where are you running off to? So then they say, 1 sec.
Fill in the blanks.
Yeah. Okay, so then the next person says, Gude saya ni shih. So repeat that. Uh-huh. 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 One more time. Gude saya ni shih. Mm-hmm. And then the answer, Fred Myers Dayan Hashich.
Fred Myers.
And then they add Kachweyis.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. I'm running off to Fred Meyer's for coffee. And so for this part, Yan Chashich, you have an N followed by an underline X. And the way I handle that is when I'm practicing reading, I sort of attach the N to the Ya. So Yan Chashich. Yeah. Yeah. And then the last line we've seen before, Suye Ikwasatin.
What's the answer?
What's that? Shakhsani Keek?
What is the answer to that?
Yekwati.
Or is more simple.
Okay, let me add it.
Uh,
Okay.
Have to remember the person is in a hurry to get out.
Oh, that's right. Not a moment to spare. Okay, Edna, you have your hand up?
I did. The Gungao Saya and Sitgao San Aya. So the S in the what time is it? Does that signify something about asking the question? Because the two words are very similar, Saya and Aya, in the two lines.
The saya is where the question mark appears, and the other one is an answer. So
Okay, so the S signifies a question. Just checking.
Yeah, excellent question. I'm glad you identified that because when you can start internalizing those patterns, that's really good for remembering. So as Edna pointed out, that when you ask kun gao saya, you're asking a question. And then the answer is very similar. Sit gao san aya. So saya and aya, you're asking, and saya, you're asking is like, what time is this? And your answer, aya, is like, this is.
yeah, I just take it to aya means it sounds kind of positive because it has the tone marks on both A's. Aya. So it's a positive answer, that's all.
Mm. Okay. Good question. Any more questions on our new lines? Or any in general? Okay, so before we break out, I'm going to put the links to this slide in the chat so that folks can look at it if you don't have a screenshot. And anyone with the link can view, copy. So this first one's in the chat here. And I'll let you grab that out of the chat. It should be available to you as well when you enter your breakout room. And we'll do 25 minutes, so you have a little more time. That'll take us to 10 till, yeah, that'd be, oh, let's do 20 minutes actually, so we have time for the closing goodbyes. So maybe we do breakout rooms, 20 minutes, up to 5 people per group. Okay, Yuhan, awesome job for the folks I was able to hear. And how did that go for you guys? 2
Good.
thumbs up. Good.
Yeah, it went good.
Okay. Well, I was very impressed. I know that I forgot to what do you call it? Demonstrate the dialogue before we left. Counting people today had me all like, where are we? So my apologies, we forgot to demonstrate. But it sounded like you guys did good. I saw a lot of people doing extra practice on those last couple of lines. So we have a couple minutes left before we break for the day. Do you have any closing comments or questions? Askatiyak Shah.
I just wanted to say that last semester and this semester have been so great. And one of the things that I love is that so many people put their Clinkit names on their like Facebook and social media. And I've always struggled with memorizing names. And so in my notebook at home, like all the people that I know, like I've basically written down their Clinkit names. And it's so nice to be able to go through and I can pronounce them now because I can actually like phonetically read them, where before I didn't. And it's such a nice personal feeling because you think of the person, you get all the good feelings, you're actually able to correctly pronounce their name. So, and I just have like a list and I kind of go through it so often. It's really cool. So thank you guys a lot and that I can do that now. So
When I was teaching in a regular classroom, I would get to the point where I only knew the native names. And somebody would ask me, so and so in your class? I said, I don't know, because I knew everybody by their Tlingit name. And it also took care of the fact that they didn't know what to call me because of my age. Usually college students call the professors by their first name. And a lot of them just couldn't do it. So calling me by my native name really took care of that problem. So.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, goodness Tish for sharing Askatiak Shah and Jaksani Keek. Really good to hear you folks today. And we hope you can make it here tomorrow. Same time, same Zoom link. Shaksani Keek has some fun things lined up in terms of vitamins found in Tlingit foods. We're happy that we can add this extra Friday class to share cultural and historical knowledge and keep hitting the books hard on language on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So goodness chish hatia adi Johan to ye kwasatin. See you again.